From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big evening of Evenings LALATE with huge news tonight about your stocks, your bonds, your crypto, and yes, your fourth stimulus check update of 2022. Tonight from the shores of Santa Monica, California, we have incredible great news because we could have a deal on that oil that could finally bring down the price of gasoline at the pump. I have the latest breaking news on that from OPEC tonight and what it means for your big money. But we have a fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state, and that's even better news. And later in this recording, we're going to go over that fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state. Stay with me over this 1 hour broadcast. We have huge money to get. Step 1 is to subscribe. Step 2 is to become a member. And Step 3, get that incredible newsletter tonight. Over this 1 hour broadcast, we're going to go over the breaking news tonight from the shores of Santa Monica, California. As we learned today from Wall Street to Main Street that the job numbers were not particularly good. What did we learn today? We learned about job creations in this U.S. economy, job loss, and also long-term concerns about unemployment. We'll be analyzing the data because Friday, for June 3rd, we'll have more data tomorrow. It's going to be a big job number predictor for tomorrow. Last night, we saw the comments from Jamie Dimon, the head of JP Morgan Chase, echoing what I say 90 days from out. This economy is going to dramatically spiral in a different direction. What do we learn about that tonight? We learned a lot more, and the comments came from Lael Brainerd, the head of the Federal Reserve. Well, the second in command of the Federal Reserve have their comments tonight as well. Auto sales continue to fall, and what does this mean for the U.S. economy? As travel and leisure could also take a plummeting. Housing sales dramatically down, and we learned more about that tonight. As one analyst says, there's a lot of downward spiral in this U.S. economy, but the housing market is the one that's absolutely crashing right tonight. Stocks are actually up today, but are we out of that crash mode or are we rebounding? But of course, the big news tonight is this, of a potential deal that can get your gasoline away from that $10 a gallon threat that we were all talking about last night on this show. I'll have the major announcement from OPEC Plus. It is huge, it is breaking, it is great news. But stay over this entire broadcast because I have huge checks for you. Four stimulus checks in every U.S. state. The details come up tonight as Evenings LALATE gets underway. And good evening from the shores of Santa Monica, California. It's a beautiful night tonight for June 2nd, 2022. Being developing details across every front tonight from housing, auto, stocks, crypto, and of course, your money. Stay with me over this 1 hour broadcast because I'm going to get you a fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state. It's landed, and you deserve it. And we're not talking about $200 checks here. No, we're talking upwards of $80,000. Single, married, with children, without children. It's all coming up later in this recording. Step 1, subscribe. Step 2, become a member. And over this 1 hour broadcast, you're going to watch why LALATE has become now one of the fastest growing financial news channels in America. And this is the #1 show in prime time. The details tonight is really exciting, great news on one front with the gasoline. It is a great celebration of the push that we did not see coming. It's coming up later second. Let me tell you what the preview of it. OPEC Plus says it will increase production. Oh, wow. That is great news. And we'll try to increase production all the way back to pre-pandemic levels. You know what that means. If they increase production, then the price of gasoline goes down dramatically. That's huge breaking news that's coming up late in this recording. Also coming up late in this recording is the comments from Lael Brainerd, the head of the second in command of the Federal Reserve. What she gave as guidance today for those interest rate spikes. It's exactly what I have been predicting. Then we'll be turning later in this recording to that recession of 2023, what Jamie Dimon said last night and what it means today as well. 90 days out, this U.S. economy will look dramatically different, substantially smaller, and substantially closer to a potential recession, I'm reporting. But tonight we're going to start, of course, with your money. Your money, lots of it. A fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state. That incredible fourth stimulus check was found by me. in the month of March, and it's not just one check, lots of checks, and we're going to go over all of those incredible checks. Step 1, subscribe. Step 2, become a member. And Step 3, get that incredible newsletter, all detailed later in this recording. But here's what you need to know tonight, is that the Build Back Better Act negotiations are underway between Leader Schumer in the Senate and Joe Manchin in the Senate to get it done. That would give you additional checks on top of the checks that I already have for you tonight. You don't have to wait for my checks. They're already law right now. Viewers have got to them by direct deposit in the month of June. And I'm going to show you how to get them as well. But when Build Back Better Act becomes law, you would get additional checks on top of that. Let's look at the fate of all those incredible checks in the Build Back Better Act. How much? Well, there's $15,000 to $80,000 of checks in the Build Back Better Act with 3 clusters and 3 add-ons. The first add-on of checks is $25,000 for the purchase of your first home. This comes from here in Southern California, from Maxine Waters, the legislator here in Los Angeles. She got it in there on the House side, and that's huge news. Again, when you go to buy your first home, they would give you $25,000 towards the purchase of it at the time of escrow. That would likely survive the negotiations of Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer. The next provision that would also likely survive is MSC. That is what legislators represent to the viewership of this channel. $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter for 6 months. That stands for multiple stimulus check. That's what legislators told tens of thousands of viewers of this channel in the months of 2021, and that provision is likely to stay in there as the second or third add-on. The other add-on is not likely to survive, and that is $250 billion of free home health care. Seniors and people on disabilities, this is a Joe Manchin provision he does not like. He does not like to expand Medicare because there's so many issues at hand. He does not want to do anything that expands Medicare. But I have new breaking news on that and Joe Manchin tonight in just a second. Let's go to the individual clusters. Hazard pay, yeah, that would survive. That is for my essential workers. If that's you, congratulations. Third stimulus gave you a lot of money, $1,500 at least, the earned income tax credit. They want to do one more year. Good, great. Then $4,000 of elder care, yes, that's in there. $4,000 of care for young children, that is in there. Nutrition, good. The purchase of your first home, yes. Home repairs, absolutely. And $12,500 for the purchase of an electric vehicle. In that second cluster, the first item, home repairs to weatherize your home, has been removed. That is a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. It's check A. It's coming up later in this recording. And then paid leave, not going to survive, in my opinion. Joe Manchin said he's absolutely against it throughout 2021. When we go to that third cluster, we have checks for farmers, survive. Checks for free internet, survive. Checks for independent contractors, survive. I want to remind you that there is free internet right now. And if you need that assistance for free internet and you are a member, reach out to the volunteers, especially Dragon. But what about the checks for seniors? The dental, the vision, and the hearing. No, no, and no, because those all expand Medicare. What about the reduction of the Medicare eligibility age from 65 to 55? No, not for that either. That will not survive. Because again, this all expands Medicare. What about the workaround plan that will provide insurance to uninsured people in 12 Republican holdout states? That would survive because that was actually written by Joe Manchin and Raphael Warnock. Now, what is the breaking news on this front tonight when we talk about seniors and Medicare? This is breaking news tonight, folks. The breaking news is a brand new report that was released literally in the last 30 minutes, and I did not bring it on set because it's very, very long, but it's really good news. A new report released today by Janet Yellen, who's your Treasury Secretary, and Marty Walsh, another secretary in the Biden administration, says that the Social Security Administration does have money and has enough money to survive for at least 75 more years. Whoa, this is historic. This report is historic tonight. Why? Number one, we've not had a report like this published by the U.S. government since 1983, approximately. This is the first time we've seen this report in a generation. Number two, this is more years than most people had always thought Social Security has funds still available for. 75 more years from today's date. So this is nearly another century they think they have funds available, but they think it could go even higher than that. Number three, Why am I putting this breaking news at this part of the recording? For obvious reason. Joe Manchin. The reason why Joe Manchin is against those Bernie Sanders provisions for seniors on Medicare is because Joe Manchin's narrative in 2021 is that Medicare is running out of money. Yeah, so can we do a little victory dance in the corner? Joe Manchin's not going to say that anymore because the Janet Yellen report released today. Perhaps because of Build Back Better Act? Oh, do you think that's what she did? The Janet Yellen report released today says, hey, you know what? We're not running out of money at Medicare. We're not going to do it for another 75 years. This is great news for my seniors and anyone that wants those clusters of third checks, seniors, dental, vision, hearing, and Medicare, lowering the eligibility of Medicare. Because suddenly tonight, you can't say that Medicare is running out of money and can't say don't expand anything in Build Back Better Act for Medicare. This is breaking news tonight, and I'm really excited for you. So Build Back Better Act, when, how? Let's go over the notion of that as well. Laying this according, we're going to go over this 90-day timeline. This 90-day timeline is very, very important because the U.S. economy is going to look dramatically worse in 90 days from now. It's coming up laying this according. But 90 days has everything to do with Build Back Better Act as well. Why? Because you look at when they want to get you the checks. They want to get you the checks before you vote in the midterm elections. Well, you don't vote in November. You don't vote on election night anymore. Most Americans vote by mail. That voting by mail is 3 months ahead of time. That's October, September, August. Okay, so they need to get you a check by August. When would they have to send out the check by for you to get it in August? Generally, July or August. But here's what you remember if you've been in the view of this channel since day one. We've made a lot of recordings in months of August. We remember what they do in August. They leave town. They are generally not in town for a full August session in August. And so most of the legislation they've ever passed has been in July or September. That is why they really got to get the formalization of the negotiations between Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer done this month, because they have to queue it up for a bill right and a vote quickly thereafter. So this is all with those 90-day horizon. Now, the other thing that supports the Build Back Better Act, of course, is the economic data. And tonight we have a lot of major economic data on many major fronts happening left and right. We're going to go over the breaking news on all this economic data, many of which that came in just minutes ago. The Build Back Better Act is supported by a series of data points that were released today, and the data points are from all different corners of the financial markets. Number one, when you look at the stock market crash of 2022, we now signal that the crypto crash is certainly upon us. The Winklevoss brothers, the billionaire Bitcoin twins, and owners of Gemini, a crypto platform featured on the channel for over 2 years, is now laying off 10% of their workforce at Gemini, as they say we're heading into crypto winter. This is big news, because if we are heading into crypto winter, that means one of the major industries of financial markets is going to be down for many months to come. And this is as the stock market continues to go left and right. What did we learn on the stock market tonight? Tonight we learned that we had a little bit of pop on the upside as Nvidia gained 6% today, and Zoom rose 3%, Tesla adding 7% upside, and Facebook up 4% for the day. But don't take it to the bank, because we have those job numbers released today, and those job numbers released today were not good. Wall Street and Main Street were looking at numbers all day long about the job market, and let me tell you what the numbers said, what they didn't say, and what's happening tomorrow. This was the big story for June 2nd, but will be the big story tomorrow for June 3rd. The numbers that were released today were the new unemployment claims, because it's Thursday, the May 2022 job creation numbers, and then we also saw some labor participation numbers. What did we learn today? Well, I had told you coming into Thursday that I wanted to see a number around 188,000 for new jobless claims. 200,000 is not a good number. That was the number right when we started the pandemic. When we came out of the pandemic, we dropped to 180, 177. I said I don't want to go back near 200. Where to come in today? exactly at 200,000 new jobless claims for last week. This means that there were 200,000 newly unemployed people for the first time ever this last week. The number was a fall, down 11,000 people, but it's not where it should be. It's a bad number. Continuing jobless claims dropped 34,000, but it's still 1.309 million continuing unemployed people in the United States tonight. Private payroll increased 128,000. It shows that more people made a little bit more money, 128,000, but that's not where it needs to be. Now, here comes the big shocker. If you're at this channel for over the last year, you remember that one day where Joe Biden went to the Oval Office, and he went there with his economic council members. He says, I'm not happy with this job creation number. Well, tonight, I was wondering, where was Joe? Because this number was hideously worse. The number for job creation that came in today, and it's the first of several numbers we're going to see this week, was very bad. For the month of May, we were expecting private sector unemployment to rise 300,000. This is job creation for the month of May. We are looking to come in at 300,000 new jobs created. These are jobs created in the private sector. This is what ADP, the Dow Jones is expecting 300,000 new jobs created in the month of May. Where did the number come in? Half the number? No. Less? Yeah, a lot less. 128,000 jobs created in the month of May, private sector, says ADP. This is not even 50% of what Wall Street is expecting. This is a horrible miss. Remember what a miss and a beat is. A beat is where it comes in better than expected. A miss is when it doesn't come as expected. This is a horrible miss. This is almost 40% lower than expected. Now, what's happening tomorrow? This is another number on top of this. Tomorrow, for June 3rd, we will see the major breaking news on Mornings LA Live for the non-farm job creations. Wall Street is looking at the number to be smaller than the month of April, but will it even come in there? April's number was 428,000 jobs created, and they're expecting 328,000 when the numbers released tomorrow. Will that be a miss as well? Now, with those two numbers, what was the other data we showed today? Christopher Rumpke, who's a chief economist at one of the major companies, FD Bonds, says that job gains across the country are slowing, but fewer workers are actually losing their jobs. Do I believe it? No. I mean, the number is 200,000 new jobless claims a week. I mean, where is he getting this data from? It's absolutely incorrect statement. 200,000 new jobless claims, that's his statement would work. It was 176 or 150. No, it shows we're still at very bad new jobless unemployment claims. Then there was other comments that came out today that said the number of people that are losing their jobs is less. True or false? If you're on the live chat right now, write whether you think people are losing their jobs or not losing their jobs. The viewers up at this channel, who I really think do have the eyes and ears of the American public, have been saying over the last 2 weeks, no, these economists have it wrong. Their data is delayed. Their data is incorrect. The viewers up at this channel, which are the eyes and ears of the American people across all U.S. states, say when they go in the big box retailers, they go to checkout and pay at the checkout. They say there used to be 3 checkers at the checkout. Now it's down to 1 or 0 do-it-yourself at the scanner. They say there's massive layoffs in the stores. And they say their friends and neighbors and family members see massive layoffs. So is the data imperfect? I think the data is really imperfect. And I do go with what the viewers say. Now, here's the backside to the equation. Not so much for Build Back Better Act, which looks at data that shows weakening of the U.S. economy. But here's the data points tonight, and that comes in from a commentator or an analyst. His name is Tom Siemens, who is an economist at Jefferies. He says that we think there's momentum definitely slowing from here on out. It's just the nature of the labor market. No, it's not just the nature of the labor market. The economy is shrinking. This is not a situation. His comments basically go on to say that, it's a pivoting market. The market's always also adjusting the cost of financing. And a lot of people out there saying the economy is weakening very broadly, but I really do think they're just talking about the housing data. He thinks, and I want to see your comments jump on the live chat right now, he thinks that the weakening economic data you see out there in this U.S. economy right now is really only weakening housing data. that it's not weakening data anywhere else. Agree or disagree? Jump in the live chat right now and write agree or disagree. My opinion is really I disagree. In fact, I don't have to even have an opinion. I can just run the data. Housing sales are down 17% year to date. Is that the only bad economic data? No. The other bad economic data, auto sales down 24% year to date. We have Jamie Dimon saying the U.S. economy is shrinking dramatically, the GDP, and you better be ready for where this U.S. economy is going. The data points continue as yesterday as the travel industry, like Delta Airlines, reported its net profits will be shorter later this year. What about tech? You want to go over to tech? Yeah, the stock market crash of 2022 is underway because Snap reported guidance for the year end down dramatically. Facebook reporting down guidance for the rest of the year. And this is of course, this economic data point is not good either. The gasoline is a very bad economic point. So for this analyst to basically say that when we look at this entire industry, the employment numbers are sort of good, but the bad economic data is really only housing, I'm not buying it. Sorry, folks, I ain't buying that narrative. And then what happened also today was a lot of people were trying to spin some of these labor numbers as mediocre, sort of good, sort of bad. No, I think these numbers are just hideously not where they need to be. And it basically mirrors where the rest of this U.S. economy is going. That's why you got to get a forced stimulus check tonight, folks. That forced stimulus check is in every U.S. state, and if any of those data points are going to continue, then you need every stimulus check that's available, stimulus check that's available. And later in this recording, we're going to go over that forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Stay with me. Step 1, subscribe. Step 2, become a member. And Step 3, get the incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It was a day with the crypto winter being announced. Crypto winter means basically the crypto industry is going to be bad for months at end. The labor numbers not good. The tech upheaval still not good. But we also had guidance coming in today from who else? Leo Brainard. She is the Fed Reserve's vice chair, and her job is to get out and get the narrative out about the Federal Reserve. What is her job generally? When having press conferences. Our press conferences purposes are to give you guidance on where the Fed is with those next interest rate spikes. And so obviously the questions to her are the same questions you would ask Jay Powell. The questions asked today is, are you going to do more interest rate spikes? The answer is yes. Are you going to do 3 more? And how many? And when? Well, she was asked specifically if 2 more 50 basis point increases is likely. And her response was, that's a reasonable kind of path. And beyond the second meeting, going into the third meeting, when asked about the third meeting, she said it's a little hard to say. Well, the rest of her comments were the following tonight, and they were exactly what you expect her to say. Her comments tonight were basically one, that right now, it's hard to see the cause to stop the interest rate spikes. Number 2, we still have a lot of work to get the price target down to a 2% inflation by the end of the year. And certainly, number 3, we have to bring inflation down. All right, let me go over all that commentary by her and my analysis tonight. To understand where she is, understand where I am, we have to bring this back to spring of last year. Spring of last year is when the Federal Reserve gave you the following comments. Inflation is going to be 2% in December 2021 and temporary transitory. I said untrue. It's going to be 8% in December 2021 and will be here for many months to stay. Not temporary, not transitory. I had it right. The guy with the purple shirt on the West Coast and the federal governors, there's a lot of them, and the Fed chair had it hideously wrong. As we went into January, February, and March, I continue to guide viewers of this channel saying, hey, the Federal Reserve is thinking that they're going to get inflation down with those interest rate spikes. They are not. The inflation is caused by supply chain disruption. Jay Powell does not have tools to get the supply chain disruption solved. And when supply chain disruption causes inflation to go higher, he ain't going to get inflation lower. Well, what happened? He didn't. Fed Reserve did a quarter basis point, didn't work. Half basis point, didn't work. Where are we tonight? None of the tools that they've used so far with raising interest rates has worked. So my guidance to the viewership of this channel is the following. The next 3 meetings will have 3 interest rate spikes. I believe the next 2 will be half and half. And the one after that is a hard one to bet on, maybe a quarter. That has been my commentary on this channel for about 2 weeks. Brainerd tonight confirms basically the same. Half and half, and then after that, hard to say. But here is where it changes dramatically. 90 days out. We're back to the same narrative. 90 days out. What happens with the Federal Reserve after those 90 days? That is where everything changes, and it's coming up later in this recording. Moreover, what about that 2% inflation by the end of the year? It's just not happening. I mean, I've been saying this for a very long time. 2% inflation by the end of the year ain't happening. And who confirms my reporting? The Congressional Budget Office, the Department of Labor. They both confirm that inflation is not coming down to 2%. It's coming down to 4%. And if we're all right and the Federal Reserve again is wrong, then that's good news for you and your SS300. Why is that good news for you and your SS300? Because Joe Biden needs to make that swap from COLA to inflation, and certainly the next 90 days, because if he does, that would be great news for you. It would raise your benefits up $200 a month right now. Not just this month, not just this year, but lifetime, because once your benefits go up, they never go down. What would happen after that? What would happen after that is that Joe Biden would certainly want to keep on top of it, and that $100 increase by December would likely happen, because inflation would likely come in at 4%. That's SS300, and that is where we are on that front tonight. But along out of nowhere, from left to right and high and low, last night we were talking about the concern of where the gasoline situation in the U.S. economy is going. And I said there is nothing set up to back up the missing gasoline. Going into last night's recording, I said the situation for gasoline at the pump is so austere that you could potentially pay $10 a gallon at the pump by just a few weeks from now. That warning last night was on the heels of 3 major events happening. But tonight, we have potentially a reprieve. Tonight, we potentially have something that will ease the situation across the board. It's not the job numbers, it's not the auto sales, it's not the housing data, it's not the 90 days out. What is the breaking news? The breaking news is a potential deal with OPEC. A potential deal with OPEC Plus tonight could potentially bring your gasoline back to those pre-pandemic cheaper prices. Wow. Where did this come from, and why is this incredibly great news? And is it likely to happen, and how likely is it to hit you right when you need that reprise, right when you need that help during these summer months? It's coming up after the commercial break. The breaking news on a dropping gasoline price point starting in July with an OPEC Plus deal. It's breaking news for June 2nd. It's coming up later in tonight's big recording. But first, in the second half of this video, we're going to be going over that huge forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. A forced stimulus check has landed in every U.S. state, and I found it for you because viewers of this channel told me back in the month of March to find them those checks. How do you get it? You stay with me in the second half. We're going to go over it. Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Step 2, become a member. And Step 3, get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday. And it has those incredible checks. In the second half of this video, we're going to go over all those incredible checks. We'll go over the great news about this potential deal on the gasoline. And then we'll go over the concern about that looming recession, the 90-day out situation that Diamond and LA have been speaking about. It's a big second half. But first, here's a little bit about the members community page. As America's most beloved and most watched show for prime time continues for financial news in just 60 seconds. But first, here's a little bit about the members community page. See you back shortly. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more.
Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And the excitement continues right on a big second half of Evenings LA for June 2nd, 2022. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, good evening. And in the second half, we're going over those forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Yes, a forced stimulus check has landed in every U.S. state, and I got it for you. It was done by executive order and also done by the states. This is not done by Congress, and this is Needle Haystack reporting. And it's not just reporting, it's getting you checks. We're going to go over all these incredible checks starting right now. It brings us back to the month of March, where viewers of this channel said, LA, Build Back Better Act hasn't gotten done. I need some money. Can you find me some money? And I looked high and low, and I found viewers' money. If you're new to this channel, let me tell you what you're watching on LALATE. This is one of the fastest growing financial news channels in America, with the #1 most watched show for financial news in prime time, covering everything from about the economy, where it is now and where it's going. But what makes this channel very unique, it's the only channel getting people money. I've been getting people money since day one when this channel launched in March 2022. How do I get people money? I find stimulus programs that are not mainstream news. They're out on the edges. And I find it for the viewers and I deliver the news about it. How to go over it, show them the details of it. I've gotten viewers over $50 million since then. And this is what happened in March. This is what's been happening since day one, where viewers say, can you find us some money because Congress isn't getting it done? And in March, they said, go find us some money. And I did. I found a check, and I called it Check A. Then I found another check, and I called it Check B. Then I found another check, called it Check C, and other checks, and called them Check D. These are forced stimulus checks, and we're going to go over each of them right now. But first, we're going to go over eligibility. You qualify. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. If you are on benefits, SSI, SSDI, VA, or RB, go get it. Rent, own, with children, without children, you qualify for most of all these incredible checks, and we're going to go over each of them one at a time. Remember, these are monster checks. They aren't little puny $200 gift certificates. And with that, let's go over the first huge check. It is a real gift because it is so much money. It is Check A. It is $6,500 to $12,000. That check is here. $6,500 to $12,000. It's a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. If you're on SSI, SSDI, RB, VB, VA, or any other type of benefits, go get it. And here you go. How do you get that incredible check? So simple. Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Go under the video where it says subscribe and subscribe. Number 2, become a member. Under the video, it says join here, join and become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Step 3, get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday for members. The membership newsletter delivered Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alerts has all the incredible information in that incredible pounds of money. And in that membership newsletter, you go right down to Check A. There it is. It details what it is, how it works, and gives you the link. The link to apply online. That's the only way you can apply for Check A. You click the link and you go right in and get it. So simple. As a longtime viewer, Carol says, Ellie, you make it so simple. You research the data for the people. Then you deliver the information for the people. You make the recording for the people. Then you actually send them the entire thing for them to click on, organize. It's so straightforward how you do it. Thank you, Carol. Let's go to that Check B. Check B is another check you're going to get. It is $15,000 to $80,000. Look at how enormous this check is. You're not misreading it. It's up to $80,000. Viewers have gotten $66,000 to $80,000. It's a four-stimulus check in every U.S. state. It is for single, married, with children, without children, SSI, SSDI, veterans. You go get it. How do you get that check B? Huge. Step 1, subscribe. Step 2, become a member. Go right down that membership newsletter till you get to check B. And at check B, you click the link and you go right in and apply. So simple. You certainly want $15,000 to $80,000. What are you doing? Become a member right now. Join right now. But you're not stopping there yet. Nope. You are going and getting a check C. Check C is an MSC, a monthly stimulus check, on average $2,000 over 12 months. Viewers have been getting check C for nearly 2 years on this channel. It is a lot of money. It's averaging $45,000 for a lot of viewers. And how do you get check C? What is check C? It is rent, utilities, mortgages. This is more. Step 1, subscribe. Step 2, become a member. And then go down in that membership newsletter till you find check C. When you find check C, it tells you who to call, what to say, and how to say it. And the success of check C dates back to December 2020 on this channel. Check C was originally called Purple on this channel. It was found by me in the thick of winter of December 2020 when the pandemic was out of control and millions of Americans were losing it all. And they said they could not wait for a second stimulus to be done by Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin. Thankfully, they didn't wait. Thankfully, I didn't wait because second stimulus never happened. And I found the money for this item. There wasn't a lot of it at the time. It was December 2021, only $250,000 for all my viewers. But the greatest thing that could ever happen at that time was I found a piece of proposed legislation for something I said, if this becomes law, it's the same thing you're doing right now. You're developing and learning the skill set from me of how to get this money, that if it becomes law in third stimulus, there's going to be fortunes of it. And boy, did that skill set work. Because as I trained viewers before third stimulus became law, when third stimulus became law, this became the reality. $20,000 to $30,000 checks for rent. Nisi all the way up to Elizabeth. $5,000 to $7,000 for utilities. Well, Mark's brother-in-law got $15,000 for utilities. That's the reality. Then when we look about SNAP, Mark's brother-in-law got $25,000 a year from this channel. Over 10 years, $250,000. Combos. The reality is what I taught in that skill set at the time is keep on getting checks. A lot of viewers are absolutely wonderful at listening to that narrative. Nisi keeps on getting checks. Margaret keeps on getting checks. Mark, Lorraine, countless viewers listened, and Johnny, absolutely, keep on getting checks. Nisi was at $23,000, and then she went to nearly $50,000 because she keeps on getting another $8,000 every few days. Here's Mark. He was at $32,000. He heard me. Mark didn't stop at $32,000. Then he went to $50,000. Then he went to $100,000. Then he got check B. Then he went to $166,000. Here's Lorraine. She just sent me a message just a few minutes ago. She got another couple $100 for another organization just today. Lorraine has gotten $120,000. This graphic is old. She's got $120,000, and yet she still gets another $800, $900 here and there. That is the true testament of a purple power. You start with a few $100s, it becomes infectious. A few $100, a couple $1,000s, a couple of $10,000s, a couple of $100,000. I've had viewers get several hundreds of thousands of dollars from third stimulus, from this check C. So step 1, subscribe. Go to the front of this channel, hit that subscribe button right now. You don't want to miss a single video. You don't want to miss a single recording. There's too much breaking financial news about this economy changing by the hour that the content of the recordings does not overlap. Afternoons, evenings, mornings, early mornings, noon, the shows are very, very different. Number 2, become a member. Go to the front of this channel, hit that membership link. Join the channel. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. A new surprise for you tonight. If you go to the front of this channel, you'll see some faces. Your faces. Yes, I've enabled a new feature on this channel that randomly shows the faces of you, the members of this channel, on the front of this channel. If you're a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP, and you go right to your side of your name, make sure it shows a picture that you like. I'm not referring to the emoji, the purple hawk emoji. I'm referring to your face or your logo or your favorite cat or dog. So if you're, for example, Drew, don't leave a D there. Swap in a picture of your cat or dog, and you'll be featured, or your dog, on the front of this channel. Step 3, get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. At 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you're going to get an alert from YouTube that says new LALATE member post. Make sure you have your alerts set to all on. There's a bell at the front of this channel. Go to that bell, hit that bell, and set it to all notifications. Subscribe, hit the bell, turn it to all notifications, become a member, and then get that newsletter Monday through Friday. When you get the newsletter, go down, check A, apply. Check B, apply. Check C, okay, here's where I'm going to call. Make the phone calls. And surprise, there's a check D in 24 plus states as well. The details of check D are also in the membership newsletter, and in many cases, it's around $2,000. All these incredible checks are in the membership newsletter. Go get them. Don't wait. You deserve all these incredible checks. Subscribe, become a member, and get these incredible sums of money tonight. Do not wait. In 90 days from now, the situation is going to be very dramatically different, and that is why you should not wait to get these 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Why is the situation going to be so dramatically different? I've been reporting this since the month of February. Last night, Jamie Dimon, head of JP Morgan Chase, nearly verbatim repeated my reporting. Since the month of February, have been saying that there's a storm out to sea. That storm is coming close to land. When it comes close to land, the wind will pick up. You will see it approaching land, and it is going to be an economic hurricane tornado. That storm out to sea was then mirrored in the same comments from Jamie Dimon yesterday. He refers to it as an economic hurricane. He doesn't say out to sea. He says down the road. He says it's approaching you, and when it approaches, it's going to hit very dramatically. What time horizon is at issue? The time horizon at issue is 90 days. 90 days, in the next 90 days, there's a lot of changing, developing details. Number one, will the bear market head closer to recession? We're down 26% year to date, and that is just bear market territory. In a bear and recessionary environment, you go down 48%. Number two, in 90 days, we're going to see those 2 or 3 interest rate spikes from Jay Powell and the Federal Reserve. That will mean the mortgage rates will go dramatically higher, and the housing market crash will go much more broad. Then we're also going to see the impact on car loans as the auto industry may further go down, as people will not be able to afford a car on a loan agreement because they cannot afford the interest rates. Then in the next 90 days, we're going to see what's happening with those labor fronts, as many are now worried about the job creation numbers are not there. They're worried that the gross national product of the U.S. economy is shrinking, and they're worried that the unemployment claims are still a very high 200,000 per week. That's also in the next 90 days. In the next 90 days, we'll see whether Joe Biden will swap that COLA for inflation, because he should, as inflation's tracking still hot. In the next 90 days, we'll also see what's happening with the Build Back Better Act and its solidification before that break, or right after that break, so that you get those checks before the economy gets worse and before you vote in the midterm elections. A lot of things happen in the next 90 days, and what do you need to know? What you need to know is that you shouldn't be rolling the dice. You shouldn't be betting on a stagflation or recession or bear market with recession. You should be getting every check that's available. And the good news among all that tonight is what is coming in out of nowhere from OPEC Plus. A major announcement tonight that shocked everyone, and shocked me especially. And it's huge, great news. Last night on Evenings LA, I detailed for you that the concern was that the price of gasoline could surge to a whopping $10 a gallon in the United States, and the price of Brent crude could surge out of control to $185, all caused by Vladimir Putin. Most of it's caused by him, but all amplified because of Vladimir Putin? Not necessarily. Let me give you the recap of where we got to get to this number, and then I'll give you the breaking news tonight that we may get a solution already this month or next month. It started when Putin invaded Ukraine. When Putin invaded Ukraine, the price of gasoline surged out of control from $100 a gallon barrel, that's Brent crude international, to 110. At the time in March, I said that 110 is not sustainable into the month of May. If it stays at 110 into the month of May, we go in recession. I also said that the price of gasoline 450 US unleaded is unsustainable in the month of May. We go in recession. Well, guess what? We're clearly above both levels. Then what happened the last 6 days was a major series of events. 2 weeks ago, I told you that the Western allies, especially the European Commission, was meeting and trying to ban the Russian oil in a meeting at Brussels. And that if they ban that Russian oil and that meeting in Russia, and then meeting in Brussels, then the price of gasoline could surge dramatically. Well, the other part of the equation going into that meeting in Brussels was what was happening in Shanghai, what was happening in China. That Chinese lockdown was about to end. And when that Chinese lockdown was about to end, I said the price of gasoline, international Brent crude, would go to 120. This is what happened. Last Friday, we learned that the deal in Brussels was about to be signed. And then the price of gasoline surged to 120, Brent crude. Oh boy. Then the deal was signed on Sunday, this last Sunday in Brussels, for banning Russian oil among the Western allies. The price of Brent crude surged dramatically, 120. Then, yesterday, China came off of lockdown. Traffic everywhere. They're a major consumer of gasoline. As in consumer gasoline, their consumption went up. The shortage of gasoline went up. Did the price of gasoline go up as well? Here's where it got interesting. The international price of Brent crude last night dropped dramatically. And tonight, it could hover even lower. Why is this happening? And is there good news? There is good news. This is what's happening tonight. Last night, we did not have the announcement from OPEC Plus, and at the time, we fully believed that the price of gasoline in the United States could surge out of control all the way up to $10 a gallon, and that's because the price point for international Brent crude could surge to 185 as well. That number that came in from JP Morgan was 175, 180. Another analyst had a 185 Brent crude. The Brent crude has generally been $20 less than what you pay at the pump. So you had to throw another $10, $20 on top of that. That would be almost $200 Brent crude. And then this. Out of nowhere tonight, we learned a major deal is being in the works from OPEC Plus. Yes, OPEC Plus is in the works for a major deal that helps us. This is a shocker. If you've been with this channel since March, you see me feature early on when Putin invaded Ukraine that OPEC Plus had a press conference. And that press asked OPEC Plus, what are you doing with the shortage of gasoline, increase in production? They refused to answer a question from press. Then weeks passed and OPEC Plus cut production. Ouch. Cut production? Yes. As 1.5 million barrels of gasoline from Vladimir Putin were missing from the equation, OPEC Plus cut about 500,000 barrels of gasoline a day. Some analysts put it even higher. This surged the price of gasoline even higher. Then came the question mark. Why is the White House not doing a deal with OPEC Plus? Why is the White House not doing a deal with UAE? The White House reportedly had attempted and then pulled back, attempted with Iran, then pulled back, attempted with Venezuela, then pulled back. And then out of nowhere, this happened. OPEC Plus came to the, quote, rescue. Let me tell you what's going on tonight. It's very great news, but it's very complicated. OPEC Plus sat back and cut production when we needed them to increase production about 2 months ago. And then the Western allies this last weekend said, we're banning the Russian oil. OPEC Plus, for moral reasons, said, you know what? I think we're going to ban the Russian oil as well. And then they said, you know what? You need oil? We got some oil. Let's increase production. Opportunistic? Perhaps. What they're doing is that now that the Russian oil has been removed because of the embargo, OPEC Plus has come to the rescue, says, we got some oil for you. We're going to increase in production. Here it is for you. There's 2 ways to approach oil. You do a shortage and the price increases, or you just sell the oil and get people to buy it. And OPEC Plus went with selling the oil and having people buy it. Now that Russian oil is out of the equation, OPEC Plus slides right in and says, we got oil for you, and we're going to do more oil. The numbers tonight is that OPEC Plus will increase production by 648,000 barrels per day, starting in the month of June and August. Wow, this is great news. So they had pulled back in production back in the spring. Now they're going to ramp up production starting at 648,000 barrels a day, but they're going to try to ramp it up all the way to 10 million barrels per day by in a couple months, which would be their levels of April 2020. This is huge. They have increased production day after day, week after week, but this is a major solidification of assistance that we really needed. Assistance starts with increase in production, and someone has to have the oil increase the production. The White House hasn't been able to solidify the deal points. And what was the White House's response to this situation tonight? This is where this is where I think the White House should have been a little nicer. The White House says, we recognize the role of Saudi Arabia as the chair of OPEC Plus and as the largest producer of achieving the consensus among the group members. The United States will continue to use all tools to address the situation. Is that a thank you? I don't think that's a thank you. I don't think that's a thank you, but there should have been a thank you and a gift basket of some potpourri, a banana bread in there, because this is a major thank you. OPEC Plus is increasing production. We needed gasoline. Last night, the narrative on the channel was 3.5 million barrels are missing now because of OPEC Plus decreasing production and because Russian oil's banned. And if that gas is missing, then the price goes to $10 a gallon. If OPEC Plus increases production, which it now announces it will, at 648,000 barrels a day, then 10 ain't happening. 9, well, no. Much lower than that. Much lower than that. The question mark is how much more they're going to increase production by September, October. You got to hope they get close to those 10 million barrels a day as quickly as possible. This would be a major help for us. And I don't know why no one in the White House said thank you a little bit louder. So I will say thank you for them. Thank you, OPEC Plus. Just do more oil quicker. I like to be oily. I like to be oily. Make me as oily as possible, OPEC Plus. I don't think I'm the only I really think I am the only financial broadcaster in America tonight who's saying, I love to be oily. Make me more oily. That's the best way to get the point across. The great news is that there's a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state, and the recession that's coming around is right around the corner. Jamie Dimon, LALATE, don't matter who you listen to, we're saying the same thing. I've been saying since February, Jamie Dimon will not use the word recession. He'll use other words like financial downturn, but we all been talking about the same thing. Next 90 days is just make or break, and you got to not allow yourself to be broken. You don't allow it to get worse. You allow it to get padded. You allow it to get financial independence. You allow it to get financially better. And how do you do that? Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Step 2, become a member. And step 3, go right in and get those checks. Get every check you can get right tonight, because your financial independence is needed now before the economy downturns. I always wonder when people tell me, I'm being evicted when I've been featuring rent assistance on this channel for 2.5 years. I always wonder when people say, I'm having my electric bill turned off when I featured utility assistance on the channel for 2.5 years. A forced stimulus check is in every U.S. state. Get that check tonight. You don't want to wait. That forced stimulus check is available right tonight. Get it right tonight. Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Step 2, become a member. Step 3, get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday. And also, stay with me throughout the day. Shows continue all throughout the night and all throughout the day, and that is why you want to stay with this channel. As this channel expands, yes, also in the next 90 days, you're going to see a whole new face to LALATE. And that's why I want you to be part of this incredible channel. Thank you for all the brand new members in the last few days. Yesterday was one of the biggest membership growth days of this channel's history. What you need to know is that shows continue throughout the night with Evenings LALATE every night at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, America's most watched show for financial news. 6 o'clock is Countdown. 7 o'clock is Street and Stimulus. 8 o'clock is The beautiful Extra. 9 o'clock is Sunset, and then our overnight shows. We continue in the pre-dawn with Sunrise at 3 and 3:30 a.m. Then we have Early Mornings LA at 4 a.m. Been a real big hit lately. Then Mornings Countdown at 7 a.m. back on air live at 9 a.m. with Mornings LA. 11 a.m. live on air with Home. And then we go into our afternoon shows 1 and 3 brand new at 3 o'clock every day. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, subscribe, become a member. Do not wait. Get these incredible checks. You deserve them. The financial future of this U.S. economy in 90 days is definitely in question. But not in question is those big checks for you tonight. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful night, and stay with LA for more.